that cloud that AI models live on is actually made out of metal, plastic, and powered by vast amounts of energy. And each time you query an AI model, it comes with a cost to the planet. Just training it used as much energy as 30 homes in a whole year and emitted 25 tons of carbon dioxide, which is like driving your car 5 times around the planet just so somebody can use this model to tell a knock-knock joke.
Can you define some of the parameters for AI and its impact on climate? I mean, what might people be referring to when they say that AI is negatively affecting climate change?
So essentially, we think of AI as this ephemeral entity, this very abstract thing, but actually the AI models and tools that we use are running on big computers in big data centers, usually in areas quite far away from us, which is why we don't see them. And essentially, these data centers use huge amounts of energy in order to function, and most of that energy is non-renewable. So it's oil and gas, sometimes even coal, because of like the sheer quantities of energy needed, and also as kind of like intuitively, like a computer heats up, but imagine on a scale of an industrial kind of warehouse-sized football field of computers, right. They heat up a lot, and so lots of cool water that's used, a lot of that evaporates, and also you've got like all the rare earth metals that need to be mined and smelted and manufactured into computers, so there's a whole supply chain issue. And then e-waste, because it's actually like the biggest growing category of waste worldwide, because we're replacing our our gadgets so often, and so it's like all of that is so physical and material, but we don't really see it, essentially.
Right. That's interesting. When you don't see something, it's magic, right? And then you don't have the ability to make the right choices many times. I think in your TED Talk from earlier this year, you talked about an AI product that you helped develop called Bloom. I want to play a clip from your talk where you reveal some pretty humbling data regarding LLM energy consumption that changed my life.
And the study I led that looked at Bloom's environmental impacts found that just training it used as much energy as 30 homes in a whole year and emitted 25 tons of carbon dioxide, which is like driving your car 5 times around the planet just so somebody can use this model to tell a knock-knock joke.
That statement alone has totally changed how I think about all of this, right? My own consumption, right? Because when you hear, oh, it takes a lot, or it takes a lot of water, I mean, you hear sort of those generalities, but you put that so clearly. I see that car going around when I go to reach to make that, prompt in an AI, and I think that is admirable that you would do that so that you could give us choices as to how we go about our day.
I definitely think that like raising awareness is really important. I don't want to make people feel bad or kind of guilty, but I do think that we our lives are kind of bound by these structures. There's only so many things that we can do given the places we live and
right.
Whether we have access to public transportation or not and whatnot. And so I think that AI should become part of this. Like we should think about the choices we have and make choices that are informed by, for example, sustainability or fairness or ethics and things like that, but kind of in a way that corresponds to our values, right? Not some random tech company's values.
Well, exactly. And I mean, again, I think it comes down to choice. If I don't understand the choices that I'm making, then I can't make intelligent choices. And so, exactly. The type of study and information that you're sharing gives people the opportunity to know, just what things cost when they use them, when they go about their lives. I'm a technologist. I'm not against technology. What I love is being able to understand how to potentially contribute to its ethical consumption and use. And I think one of the things that stands out to me here is that people sitting at home probably didn't have any idea before they heard what we just talked about. And so how do you balance AI at the corporate or systemic level with individual usage when, we're individuals, but big companies, big AI companies, the outsized impact of what they do is beyond what one of us could do?
So I definitely think about this a lot, and it comes down to knowledge and kind of requesting and even insisting that these companies be more transparent with us. Technology is not very transparent in general, AI even more so, and I think that when big tech companies present it as magic, a lot of questions like magically disappear because you don't want to ask too many questions of something. It's too magical, right? Wizard of Oz. Yes. But once you start kind of debunking these kind of, myths, but also kind of like personas, you can start asking exact questions about, energy, about, bias and ethics. And then once we have access to the information, we can start making informed choices. So saying, no, we don't want to use a model that, is powered by coal, or we don't want to use a model that was trained on data that was stolen from artists without them having a say in it, right? And then, so the more we know, the more power we have in these choices. And I think that's really a way to push back.
I think that's amazing. And being able to share with them this information gives them the tools that they need to make the right choices. AI is not going anywhere. Climate change, we haven't solved that yet. So what can people do to use AI responsibly?
Thinking about the fact that this technology has a cost, maybe we don't know exactly the cost, and whereas this piece of paper, the cost is, if you take something, fish a paper out of the recycling bin and use that as a grocery list, it's probably a lot more sustainable in the long run. I know now, especially young people, they have ChatGPT open as a constant thing, as a constant presence on their computer, and so they will like default to it for even checking the weather, and you're like, it's not meant to tell you the weather. Like, there are websites for that, right? And it's not meant to calculate stuff for you. It's not meant to be a search engine. It's meant to generate new content, which is useful in certain cases, right? And so thinking about intention and impact, essentially.
Facial recognition block, we're here to make a planet. Can't nobody stop. Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a planet. Can't nobody stop.